Well, after being given a second chance at freedom, a man convicted in a deadly hit and run once again avoided prison, this despite violating his probation.
Roman Gonzalez-Turullos pleaded guilty last year for the hit-and-run death of Texas School for the Deaf teacher Mark Goebel. Chris Sadgi reports the judge's decision to keep him out of prison did not sit well with the Goebel family.
Leslie Hussey got up and left early. Through a sign language interpreter, her brother explained why.
We obviously are disappointed with the decision, and the judge's history, we're not surprised.
Last year, Judge David Wahlberg sentenced Roman Turullos Gonzalez to a 6-month taste of prison after he pled guilty to killing Leslie's husband, Mark Goebel, in a 2012 hit-and-run. But the judge warned any probation slip-ups after Roman's December release could mean a return to prison. Yet Friday, after evidence of 3 missed drug tests and alcohol being detected on his ignition interlock, the judge allowed Roman to remain on probation.
And he failed completely as a judge.
Goebel's family didn't like Wahlberg's probation decision in December, and they really didn't like this one.
He kind of wussed out. He is a disgrace to the robe he wears.
The Goebel family wrote letters to the judge urging him to send Turullos Gonzalez back to prison, that he'd had enough second chances. But they once again walked out of this courtroom disappointed.
This judge is absolutely ridiculous.
Bart Griffin has fought to strengthen hit-and-run laws since his daughter was killed. He also criticized Wahlberg. The judge didn't allow audio recording in court, but said the probation violations were minor and caught early enough so that a return to prison was not warranted. Wahlberg acknowledged it was a tough decision that some wouldn't like, and he was right.
I wish the judge had some guts and would do what he should do.
In downtown Austin, Chris Sadgi, KXAN News.
Although Turullos Gonzalez will not be sent back to prison, the judge did increase the terms of his 10-year probation sentence to include an alcohol monitoring bracelet, and he will no longer be able to drive a vehicle at all. Bart Griffin has been fighting for tougher punishment in cases like this ever since his own daughter's death.
In 2011, Gabrielle Nastandi hit Courtney Griffin with her car and drove off. Griffin died at the scene. Nastandi claimed she did not know she hit a person. Instead, she thought someone threw a rock at her car. Prosecutors believe Nastandi was drunk but could not convince a jury. She served 6 months in prison after the jury convicted her of negligent homicide. Now, at the time of Griffin's death and Goebel's a few months later, the law carried lower penalties for people who drove away after a crash. But in 2013, those cases spurred lawmakers to change the law to discourage drivers from leaving a scene. The old punishment carried a maximum of 10 years behind bars. Cases of failure to stop and render aid are now charged as second-degree felonies. That's the equivalent of intoxication manslaughter. The punishment range is now 2 to 20 years in prison.